In part 1 of lecture 1, we will be introduced to UNIX and to Linux. UNIX is a time-sharing operating system. This means that you are interacting directly with the computer, but you are sharing it with other users. The computer can alternate between users so quickly that it seems that you are all accessing the processor at the same time. It also allows the user to choose which particular interface or shell that the user chooses to use. While you may choose your shell, you don't have a choice of kernels. The kernel is the core of the operating system. The job of the kernel is to allocate and control resources of the computer, such as processor time, the amount of memory that your program is using, as well as its access to input-output devices. In addition to the kernel and the shell, UNIX also includes a set of utility programs known as tools, which include the compilers, editors, and other software that you can use. As we will see shortly, Linux is derived indirectly from UNIX. Its overall structure is similar in many ways. And like UNIX, it has its own collection of software tools. These tools are largely part of the GNU project, another project that provided what we call open source software, where the user has access to the actual version of the software that the programmer wrote, and that the public can freely use it. However, no one outside of the GNU project can sell it as their own. That right rests with the copyright owner. UNIX was originally developed at AT&T Bell Laboratories and was one of the first time-sharing operating systems. Ken Thompson, Dennis Ritchie, and their team originally developed it to run on a Digital Equipment Corporation PDP-7 mini computer. Later, it was redeveloped for Digital's PDP-11 mini computer. To make this work easier, Dennis Ritchie developed the C programming language, which made the job of writing code for operating systems much easier. Due to the consent decree that gave AT&T a regulated monopoly on phone service in 49 states and the District of Columbia, they couldn't sell computer hardware or computer software unless it was for telephone or telegraph service. So they gave it away at no cost, with no guarantee, no documentation, and no technical support. But colleges had people who were anxious to play with it, so it became popular there. Many of these computer science majors at these colleges brought it to the financial industry, where it became very popular. Andrew Tanenbaum developed MINIX so he could illustrate how operating systems were designed and implemented in his classic operating systems textbook. The second version of MINIX came out later and was not as well received. This inspired Linus Torvald to begin work on Linux. Torsvald invited the computer community to join him in the work. This gave the Linux project the kind of expertise that made it good enough to find a place in private industry.